Hard of hearing performances at VillaGaiety. Chapters. An interview with Emma Callin from VillaGaiety at 0 minutes and 24 seconds. An interview with Lucy Buxton from the Manx Deaf Society at 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Emma Callin from VillaGaiety. What systems and facilities are available to assist hard of hearing customers at the Gaiety Theatre?
At the Gaiety, we have hearing loops in the auditorium and at the box office. We can't always operate the hearing loop in the auditorium. It depends what performance we have on, so we do encourage customers to ask us. However, we also try to do as many as we can captioned performances, and we've just started to introduce more British Sign Language performances. The reason we offer captioned performances and British Sign Language is that not everyone with a hearing impairment has English as their first language. Quite often sign language is their first language. And the captioning unit, the text moves with the performance, so it will tell the audience what the actors are saying, but it will also describe any sounds that are happening on stage, so it can move quite quickly. So we wanted to introduce sign language performances as well for those people for whom trying to read English quickly is not going to be as easy, and having a sign language performer adds a really great element actually to the show as well. Not all of the performances are suited to that. We're trying to really increase captioned and British Sign Language and to not have them all on the same date. We try to give a good spread. We put all the information on our website so that when you go to book tickets, you can see when those performances are and what facilities we have for people who have a hearing impairment. But if it's not clear, then customers are always welcome to ask.
What systems and facilities are available to assist hard of hearing customers at the Villa Marina and Broadway Cinema?
So we also have a hearing loop at the Villa Marina. Some of the live performances are not suited to that, so we try to use it as much as we can. However, we do have the Listen Talk system available. Customers who wish to make use of one of the Listen Talk devices can ask at reception, and they are available for use even if the induction loop is also operational. Devices will accept any domestic headphones, and staff at reception will be able to provide a user guide if necessary. At the Broadway Cinema, we have 6 headsets available for audio description, so people can request those when they come or when they book their tickets. And we also run subtitled screenings of many films, and people can find information about that on our website at villagaiety.com or ask if they come into the box office at the Villa Marina to book their tickets, where there's also a hearing loop for them. We can tell them which performances have those facilities available.
Lucy Buxton from the Manx Deaf Society. Who are the Manx Deaf Society?
The Manx Deaf Society was founded back in the late 1920s to support the profoundly deaf sign language users here on the Isle of Man. This has changed over the years, and nowadays we look to support not just the profoundly deaf sign language users here on the island, but anyone with any degree of hearing loss or hearing-related issue, whether it's a permanent issue or whether it's just a temporary one.
What benefits do your service users get from British Sign Language performances at the Gaiety Theatre?
We have a small group of British Sign Language users here on the island who previously haven't had the greatest of accessibility to theatre performances. It's okay to have captions, but you have to remember that the captions are in effect a second language for our sign language users. So being able to attend a performance in British Sign Language, their first language, is hugely important, and it just makes the theatre so much more accessible. And by doing that, it can help to promote mental health well-being, because a lot of people find themselves quite disconnected from society. So having that more inclusive aspect is brilliant.
What benefits do your service users get from captioned performances at the Gaiety Theatre?
The caption performances are hugely important. They're important for people like myself. I stopped coming to the theatre because although I cope very well in a situation where we're one-to-one and I'm quite close to someone, I can lip read, and if it's quiet, I can use my hearing aids to pick up a good quality of sound. When you have acting on the stage or a musical, trying to pick out the dialogue and the words within a song, the lyrics, are nigh on impossible. So having the caption bar makes it hugely easier for someone like me to come along. I'm used to using the captions and the subtitles on the television, so it's almost a home from home, and we do find that more people come to the theatre. We've had events where we've brought members of our Hear to Hear group here, and also our Deaf Club, which is for our sign language users, have also had a trip to the theatre and have enjoyed what they've seen.
What benefits do your service users get from subtitled screenings at the Broadway cinema?
In a similar way to the captions at the theatre, being able to come to the cinema with your friends and your family and to enjoy a film with captions means that you can go along and actually enjoy the film and take part and be part of that event, rather than going along and feeling left out because you can't hear what everything's being said, you don't hear the asides. A personal experience would be I used to come with my family. They always wanted to see the latest action movie. If it was something like Iron Man, well, most of the dialogue is covered because of the mask. So I used to go, but I could never really follow what was going on. So it wouldn't be until the film was then released and I could watch it at home that I could then go, oh, that's what was going on. So it means that you are making the cinema more open and more accessible to people. I know a lot of people complain about having captions, they feel it gets in the way, but actually the amount of positiveness that it brings. We have a member who, again, had stopped going to the cinema because they couldn't follow what was going on, and it becomes a very lonely and isolating experience. You're sat in a large room with lots of people following what's going on, laughing, groaning, jumping, and you have no idea what they're saying or why they're reacting in the way they had. So the advent of having captioned cinema is hugely important.
What benefits do your service users get from the Listen Talk systems available at VillaGaiety?
Listen Talk is a relatively new system. We worked with the Gaiety Theatre staff and the Villa Marina staff when it was being brought in. It's replacing the old loop system, which, although loops are great, unfortunately, in the buildings that we have, the loop coverage wasn't 100%. So there were certain areas in the Royal Hall at the Villa Marina and in the dress circle here at the Gaiety Theatre where you couldn't access the loop. So you had to sit in certain places if you wanted to use that loop. The Listen Talk system has revolutionised that. You can sit wherever you want within the theatre or within the Royal Hall, and you can follow what's going on. You can hear what's being said. So it's made a huge difference, and there are various different ways of accessing that. You can either use it using a personal loop that's provided or an over-the-ear earpiece, or you can also look at bringing your own hearing accessories, maybe a pair of headphones that work for you, if that's the best way that you can find to link into that system. So again, it's brilliant. It's always wonderful when you can actually come and access the theatre in any shape, way or form. And I think the efforts that are being made by the VillaGaiety staff and the venues to make their performances more accessible, it's got to be a good thing.
For more information about accessibility at our venues, visit villagaiety.com.